Looks like goddamn Mario Kart. Checkered everything.
There's something on that car.
It's a hang.
Daddy's home.
What the shit? Race control.
Right. One more car and I'm taking it out of your ass.
I'm gonna take this track and make it my bitch. Did you know that races are won and lost in the pits?
I did not know that.
Did you not?
The IMS is the best there ever was.
Daddy doesn't do road courses.
Daddy only does ovals.
We certainly don't take ourselves that seriously, so you shouldn't.
Welcome to Fast Cars, Fast Girls with Abby and Molly.
All right, it's season 2, episode 35. It's the Sonoma Grand Prix race review, the last race of the season, and I am joined by our driver analyst, Juliana Myers. The brunettes have taken over. Watch yourself.
Yes, it's about time.
I know. Thank goodness. I have been in the minority. No, there's only 2 of us, but still. Darn
Yeah,
it.
still.
All
I
right.
think that's fair.
So to warm up the tires, we're going to just run down like 3 or 4 news stories. Obviously, we're getting right into the middle of the silly season. And then we're just going to hit Sonoma and talk about an amazing race. Sound good?
Yes. Yeah, sounds great.
All right. So as far as news, the silly season has started.
Yes, it has. It's in full force, for sure.
Let's see. Ed Carpenter Racing confirmed Piggott into the 21 car, so that's great.
That's awesome. I'm very excited for that.
He's been showing some like stuff this year. I'm excited to see what happens next year.
Yeah, definitely. He's been doing the best that he can, and I think with Ed and Jordan King switching out all the time, you're not getting like consistent data.
Yeah.
And so I think he's probably had a harder job as like a 2-car team than most other teams.
Yeah.
So I think he's done great for his like first full season, and I'm excited to see what he does next.
Yeah. So, and obviously we're waiting to see about that 20 car. There have been rumors on rumors on rumors. So we'll just wait and see.
Rumors for days. Yeah.
Rumors for days. Speaking of rumors, there's the rumor about the Steinbrenner Harding, which will pair up and then be the junior IndyCar team for Andretti Autosport. Now, this is a rampant rumor, and I guess Michael was interviewed during the Sonoma Grand Prix, and he was like, I mean, we're really not that involved.
Right.
Okay.
Now, there's just been so many rumors when it comes to, I mean, clearly Alonso, I feel like all the cards fall around him.
Yeah.
So, like, everybody's been thinking Alonso's going to Andretti Autosport, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like, so what does it mean with this Harding thing? But then people were saying Alonso to Harding. So it's like, I don't know.
I'll know when he shows up at St. Petersburg, if he shows up. Like, that's when I'll know. And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
he's with this team now. Cool.
Right. I mean, I think we can expect an Indy 500 run, maybe, from Alonso.
I think so.
But I think that's about it.
Yeah.
I think that's about as far as that goes right now.
That's about as far as I'm willing to bet on right now.
Yeah. Seems fair. Me too.
So we'll see. It's the silly season. We just wait and see.
Right. Well, at least we have silly season, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do with myself in the off
I know.
season. So at least there's that.
I'm trying to pretend like it's not happening. That's my coping mechanism right now, is let's just pretend like it's not happened.
Just ignore it. That's
Yeah.
like my life motto.
Just ignore it, and it just won't. It's fine.
Yeah.
2 other drivers we can confirm. Sebastian Bourdais is staying with Dale Coyne Racing. Apparently that was questionable for a minute.
I don't see how. I don't see how Dale Coyne lets go of Sebastian Bourdais.
Right, I think that's the thing. Dale Coyne probably doesn't want to let him go. Maybe he got a call. I don't. But he's staying, which I think that's kind of, it's like Dixon with Chip Ganassi. Yeah, everybody came knocking, but at the end of the day, he's not leaving.
Right. I mean, yeah. And I mean, thank God, because what are the other drivers who are always TBD going to do without Sebastian Bourdais?
They gotta have one driver.
Oh my God. For real.
Oh God. I'm sorry. Now I'm having like palpitations. Like it's just all TBD forever with that team.
Can you imagine being like a TBD driver and then not having Sebastian Bourdais to like give you information?
Like, what about this race? Oh, I don't know. I didn't run it either. I'm out. I'd leave.
Right, cool.
I'd leave.
Perfect.
Fun. And Sato just confirmed right before the Sonoma Grand Prix that he's going to stay with Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing through 2019. So
That's
Sato is
awesome.
back.
Yeah, that's
Graham?
cool. I mean, I wouldn't know what to do with like an IndyCar grid without Sato at this point.
He's kind of up there with like Ryan Hunter-Reay, Tony Kanaan, Will Power, Scott. Like, if they're not there, what am I supposed to do with my life?
Right. He's just been there for so long that I like wouldn't know what to do.
No, it would be weird.
Who would I pick as my first out driver? Just kidding. I don't know what I would do without Sato. You know?
I do. No, I don't even want to think about it. Actually,
no.
He belongs. He can't leave. All right.
Yeah.
He's with Tony Kanaan
sure.
in the will never retire league.
Right. Yeah. Just there forever.
You had a piece of news you told me before we started recording.
Yeah. So I was just browsing through the app as I do.
As you do.
Every once in a while, especially in the off season when I'm sad. Mm-hmm. And voting for the final round of fan favorite driver is going on right now.
Ooh.
So there's 12 finalists to choose from.
Okay.
It's Sebastian Bourdais, Scott Dixon, James Hinchcliffe, Brian Hunter-Reay, Tony Kanaan, Matthias Leist. That's a bit of a surprise.
That's a little out of left field. I mean, he's a nice kid, but...
He is. I mean, he must have all of his millennial friends voting for him. We have Joseph Newgarden, my boy.
Yep.
We have Will Power, Graham Rahal, Alexander Rossi, your boy.
Yep.
Takuma Sato, and Robert Wickens.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's pretty wonderful. I mean, I voted for Robert Wickens. It just seems like the right thing to do.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess we will see this time.
Yeah.
What happens with that?
It will.
And Daly won that last time, right?
Yeah, because they give it to everybody at the St. Pete. It's one of the things at St. Petersburg. So everybody votes, and then it's revealed at St. Petersburg.
Right.
I feel like they started the voting like a lot earlier this year, though.
Yeah, I think they did too.
I kind of remember.
But I mean,
who knows?
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm glad that both of our boys are in there. There's a few other really cool names in there.
Yeah.
I think Hinch will always be one of those people. Dixon.
Yeah.
Definitely Rossi this season.
Yeah.
Wiggins. So
TK,
it's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, TK every time.
Every time. Why even pretend?
Right. His 300th start this year. I'm sorry.
What in the world?
That's so many starts. And he broke his wrist, right, a couple seasons ago.
Yeah, and so that's
in Detroit.
why... Yeah, and he had to sit one out, and so that's, like, it's like consecutive starts, but he's obviously raced, like, so many more. Just so many more.
Right. I mean, can you imagine how many it would be if it wasn't for that one wreck? That's just crazy to me.
That's insane.
How many that is.
Insane.
I mean, I wish we could have seen a special on it on the pre-race, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, let's...
I'm sure we'll get to that.
Well, I mean, we can jump right in. It's time for Sonoma anyway. Oh my God. I don't want to, like, get to that part first, but let's just hit that now, because that's the... I'm floored that happened.
You know, I hardly ever miss ABC broadcasting.
I know, but we all did.
This was a moment in which, and you know what, they better be happy that Abby is long far away right now, because if she wasn't, she would have been writing a strongly worded email to whoever's in charge at NBCSN. I mean, really, though.
I'm also, like, I'm just personally thankful because I didn't have to hear the ranting. I mean, I was mad, don't get me wrong, and everybody where I was mad, but, like, then it came on the TV and we were like, okay, it's here.
I mean, I just don't understand how yellow flag laps in NASCAR are more important than the first lap of the championship race. Like, a huge moment happened that we're going to get to with Rossi that literally changed the whole scope of the championship. And somehow we didn't see that live. Instead, we watched
see the
yellow
replays.
laps on NASCAR. Like,
are you kidding me, NBC? You're taking over next year, and I have a lot of concern right now.
Right.
And people were like, if you jumped on the app, but I tried to get on the app because I have it on my phone, and it was still giving me issues.
Right, and I was trying to be, like, smart and listen to IndyCar radio and have the TV on, but, like, in my heart, I thought that they weren't going to start until they were done with the NASCAR broadcast, because that's what they were saying.
That's exactly it. Like, driver communications, they were like, well, we're waiting because NASCAR's still going on, we're waiting for TV, and I was like, cool. And then all of a sudden I was like, fudge, they've started.
All of a sudden, it was, like, halfway through the first lap, Rossi has a broken front wing and a down left tire, and nobody knows what happened. And it's like, are you shitting me?
I'm
like,
just screaming wildly in this garage because I don't know what's happening.
Somebody got fired over that, right? I mean, that's just bad. So. It's just not good. It's not a good look. And then they send me to CNBC, which I had to text you to ask where to go.
Right? Nobody knew where to go.
No. And then I get there, and then 5 minutes into the broadcast, they just switch over to Shark Tank and say nothing.
Right. Everybody was like, and we were like, okay. And then all of a sudden I was like, this isn't the race, this is Shark Tank. And so we just all screamed at the TV, go to the one guy holding the remote, we're like, go back!
I know. Oh, I mean, it's a good thing I was home alone because I was fully screaming at the TV.
Yeah, no, we were
fully screaming.
I
was not pleased. Yeah.
I could not have watched that at a bar. It would not have gone over well.
No, because can you imagine telling the server, change the channel?
No, you have to go to CNBC.
No, just bring the remote to me. Yeah, no fucking way, dude.
So it did not get off to a great start, NBC. We'll see what happens with the app and everything else next year, but I have made a concern.
I think in my notes, I literally have, what the fuck, NBCSN? Fucking NASCAR.
Yeah,
I have in my notes.
I just had and NASCAR and circled, exclamation point, underlined, unhappy face.
Right. I mean, in a very happy note, we did get an announcement from Wickens.
Yeah.
For the first time since Pocono.
We got to see him.
We did.
That was really
which is
nice.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. It's great to see. I mean, it's harrowing to see for sure.
Sure.
It's rough,
It is.
But at the same time, it's just great to see him talking. I mean, we were at that race.
Yeah.
And it was awful.
Yeah.
And I'm just so glad that he's still here and on a road to recovery and talking and moving his arms. It's great to see.
It is. So it looks like he said he's been transferred to a rehab facility. Mm-hmm. Most of us here in Indy kind of figure we know where it is, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
But now this is part two. Part one was getting him well enough to get to the rehab hospital. Part two is rehab and rehab. So
right. I mean, it's all steps taken in the right direction, and no matter what happens, I'm just glad that he is on a road to recovery and that
definitely.
he can be in that place and be in rehab. So, I mean, clearly he was amazing this season. I would have been so interested to see what happened with the rest of this season. God, by Pocono, he was still number 6 in the championship, right?
I know.
It's crazy. I mean, it's heartbreaking. And I guess that's just the sport sometimes. I really hope that we can see him back and going for more podium finishes and being in the A team with him. It just is anybody more likable? I don't think so.
Well, you saw where both he we're getting a little wild, a little jumping around. Where both he and Hinch have the same. It's all right. People are used to it at this point. Have the same. They ended up tying with the exact same number of points.
Yes, I did see that.
I mean, could that be any cuter?
No, it's just friendship goals, man. I don't know.
They're BFFs for sure. That's that's the little necklaces where you have the heart.
Oh my God,
they basically are that now.
Yeah, or it's one half of a heart and the other half.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's so cute. So yeah, and I think that's what that was in my notes because I think we would have gotten that in the pre-race if we had one.
Yeah.
So that's why that's in there. But yeah, it was great to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we will just stick around for official statements.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Yes, official statements. And we will just all send our love and vibes or whatever you send. So.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Well, let's backtrack and run through practices.
Yes, let's do that.
So,
okay.
Let's see. First off, your boy. I don't know what he ate. Probably the seafood. Although I've been to Pier 39, and the lobster rolls are actually really good, but he must have gotten a bad one.
No, I believe it, but it's really bad when the day before practice, all of the same 4 drivers are eating this crab leg, and then Joseph gets sick, and I was like, was it the crab leg they fed him? Because that's not fair, man.
Right, why did the others not get sick? Who poisoned Joseph Newgarden?
Right, I'm like, okay, Rossi, just kidding.
I mean, yeah, it was probably him. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
I mean...
But yeah, man, he had food poisoning, which we saw with Zach Beach earlier in the season, too.
Food poisoning is a bitch with the
man, that's rough. Can you imagine, I mean, I've had food poisoning just like in my regular life. Like, I can't imagine trying to drive a car at like 150 miles an hour.
I did not drive a car when I had food poisoning at all.
Oh, yeah, no.
No. And then, like, he had food poisoning, and his car had, like, the little gremlins, too. So,
he had mechanical issues, which is the main thing. He didn't go out because of the food. He didn't not go out because of the food poisoning. He didn't go out because of mechanical issues.
Yeah. So, yeah, he kind of missed practice session 1, but he came back for 2, so.
He sure did.
He got P1.
He did. He had P1 in practice 2, Dixon P2, and O'Ward P3.
I'll tell you what.
Practice 2.
Pato O'Ward showed up this weekend. Like,
he sure did. Yeah.
Oh my God! I can't wait for next season.
He was flexing this weekend.
It's gonna it's good. I'm wholly impressed by the kid.
Oh yeah, and I think everybody is. I saw statements from drivers after the race, and I even saw Dixon mentioning O'Ward multiple times. And when somebody like Dixon is mentioning you multiple times, like, you're clearly doing something right. You know. I'm always excited to see where these Indy Lights and like Maserati Indy drivers come, because clearly my favorite drivers, New Garden and Beach, come from that. It's great to see them like grow with the sport. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's just always fun, and you can kind of track it, and that's what I really appreciate.
Yes, for sure.
So he did get to see. What was I found interesting in practice session 1 was like the first half of the session, I would say half the field kind of waited. Like they were playing tire management game even during practice sessions.
Yeah, they definitely were. And we definitely saw that in quali with Rossi too.
Oh my God.
Saving that pair of reds.
Yeah.
Which was an interesting choice. And if he wasn't in P5, he might have gotten by a little bit better in the first lap. But, you know, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You can't.
One of those things.
You can't, like, know what's going to happen ahead of time.
Yeah.
But he did end up using those tires later. I have that written down. But, there was definitely some tire management strategy being played this weekend.
Definitely interesting. Let's see. I didn't have a lot for practice session 2.
No, I just have mostly P1, P2, P3.
Yeah.
We saw more off-track moments in P1 or practice 1.
Yeah.
With Hinch, and then even a few moments for Rossi, he was just kind of getting a little squirrely in corners.
They were getting a little squirrely in those corners.
I feel like it's becoming really common to see Rossi just drifting through a corner.
I kind of feel like he's just doing it now for funsies. Like, I'm not sure, but there's a part of me that's like, is he just messing with us now? Is he just like, look what I can do?
Yeah, pretty much, I think.
I'm okay with it, though, because it's fun to watch.
Yeah, you know what? It is very fun to watch. Yeah,
live your life, okay? Live your life.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Practice session 3, Bourdais had gearbox issues.
He did, and man, he has had practice gremlins all season.
I know we talk about haints on cars. Like last year, we were like, man, there's a haint on Connor Daly's car. I'm like 100% sure Sebastian Bourdais picked it up for the back half of the season.
Yeah, no kidding. He's had a rough go at it. I mean, we saw that last weekend with his crash in practice.
Oh my God.
Practice, and then coming back for quals with his Frankenstein
car. And then he even had a little moment during the real. I don't know. Get a priest or something for that car.
Right. I mean, now that it's the off season, maybe they can just send it to the Catholic Church and have them bless it or something.
I mean, I feel like the Pope could do this.
Well, I mean, I just want to let you know as a complete sidebar that my dad used to take my race car to our church, and he'd have the deacon come out and bless it.
I mean, I get that. I didn't grow up in the Catholic Church. I know enough that like in like college towns, like the priests will bless like your pencils before final exam time, and like the pets get a blessing. So. I mean, if it works, it works, okay?
Yeah, I mean, we did that all the time, and we would just pull up to the Catholic Church with, like, the big trailer and, like, my big car on the back, and, like, the deacon would come out and bless it. I mean, that's just funny.
That's really funny, actually. I love that.
Oh, man. Yeah, my dad was an interesting type, man. That's for sure.
Yeah. He's a cool, interesting type, though, so that's good.
Yeah, totally.
Anything else you've got for P3 or nah?
Nah, I was at work, so I couldn't take the most notes on that one.
That's all right. No worries. All right, well, it's time to go to quals then.
All right.
First of all,
man,
Pato O'Ward again. He went P1 on blacks. on blacks.
It's wild.
Threw
and he went
something
off track before that happened too.
Yeah, like what the world over?
I know, man. He was just flexing on that. I mean, I can't, there's no other way to describe it.
No, there's not. And I was here for it 100% because he was just like, oh yeah, guess what? I just went P1 on blacks. Patricio Award is here.
Yeah, after he like drove off the track on his lap, like with dirt on his tires. I mean, that kid, man, we're gonna see things from him for sure.
We are, and now, I mean, he ended up like he went all the way to the Fast Six. I mean, he was P5 starting the race.
It's crazy, and I mean, he like we'll get to this, but he got Harding's first top 10 for the season.
That's all right. You can say it. I mean we have a structure, but it's a loose structure.
I mean, everybody knows what happened in the race.
Yeah.
I mean,
no spoilers, because if you haven't seen it by now, then I can't help you.
Dude, then, like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Please pause this and go watch it.
Please, yes.
Come back, though.
And watch the rebroadcast, though. Don't watch the
no, watch the rebroadcast. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, Award, he's just very impressive.
He really was. I was very encouraged by that. I will say, like, just like in practice sessions, though, like we had a lot of people kind of dip off track. Like Award did, Sato did, Veach did. I guess there was a wind pushing them into the break zone, which is going to fuck with you.
Yes, they were definitely talking about that in P3 and quals, that the wind was throwing them off. And Hinch didn't make the Fast Six, and he came off, and he said that was very much a part of it, was the wind.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have your setup and the wind comes in and messes with it, it's going to knock you on your ass. And I think that's what we saw with a lot of people. Like, Will didn't make the Fast Six. Simon.
That was Will Power's first time this season not in the Fast Six.
I know.
That's outrageous.
I know. I didn't know what to do with my life.
I mean, Power is the qualifying king. Like, there's no doubt about it.
Hey.
But, like, just hearing the stat of that's the first time he wasn't in the Fast Six, like, what?
What is that? I know.
It's crazy. I mean...
Yeah. All right, let me...
So, yeah, Pagano and Power didn't make it into the Fast Six, which is a bummer. I mean, I expected a lot out of Pagano this weekend.
I did, too.
But, I mean, he did well.
Yeah.
He even said he got his feet underneath him, finally found his road course setup. So that's great. I'm really happy to see that. But it was just a bummer to not see him in the Fast Six. I think he was having some the wind gremlins as well.
He is. And kind of like you mentioned, he even said it, like he's kind of struggled to find that sweet spot on road courses this year. So
he really has, yeah. And he's been really open about it too on just the broadcast, saying like, I can't find a happy place. I don't have a smile at the racetrack when I'm at a road course.
Yeah.
So in the post race, he did say, "My smile's back. We found it." So I'm really happy about that.
Because he's just so nice.
Oh, he's so cool, man. Yeah. I will never forget being at the victory banquet and like us all showing our heels in his sock. I live for that moment. So. I
mean, that's exactly why this is such a great series. Is they're like, show some legs, and here's Simon just rolling up his leg too with us, like, all right, ladies, let's show some legs.
The best, right? No kidding.
Yeah. So not seeing him or Will make the Fast Six was kind of weird.
Yeah, that was surprising all around. Yeah, I think I expected to see all of Penske in the Fast Six at Sonoma.
I did too, honestly.
And you know who happened to all be in the Fast Six other than Veach? It was Andretti Autosport. Andretti Autosport kind of came and took over their game this weekend.
They kind of showed up, at least for qualifying. Well, I mean, RHR won the race. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. I mean, Andretti did well.
Andretti did do well. So did Penske, but you know,
right.
It was the powerhouses showed up.
Definitely, but I mean, Andretti Autosport kind of came and stole Penske's gig in that top six.
They did a little bit. I was slightly here for it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm kind of here for it. I love Andretti Autosport. So
I mean, I just love all of them except for Larry Foyt.
I mean, yeah, it's hard, man. I love all of them. I want to see them all do well.
Isn't that the worst part? You're like, who do you want to win? All of them.
Literally everyone. Like, I don't think anybody could win an Indy 500 and I'd be disappointed, other than the year I went and won. Pablo won.
Aw, that was my first one, though.
That was your first Indy 500?
In person. I mean, we listened to it as a family on the radio. But yeah,
Right.
him in person was my first Indy 500.
Me too.
Aww.
Oh, that's so cute.
Aw, we're like BFFs now. Sorry, Abby.
Right.
Your position has
Sorry,
been filled.
Abby. And who would have known? 3 years later, here we are.
Ta-da!
Oh, cute.
So let's see. As quals, we kind of talked about it, but like Rossi got into the Fast Six, laid a couple of laps down, went, and then just peeled off.
Yeah, and that was all because of that tire strategy they were trying to play.
And like, I was concerned because before it happened, like Dixon had the pole, and I was like, "Son of a bitch, you just gave him an extra point." Like I was gonna call somebody.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
start yelling.
But Hunter Ray came in and snatched that pole in like the last literally 3 seconds. It was crazy.
Everybody thought that Dixon had the pole, and they're like, "Well, Hunter Ray's coming through," and all of a sudden it was just like, what? And Hunter Ray was like, "Oh, hello, did you forget about me? Like, I've won the championship. I've won Indy, the 500. I won a race this year. Like, hello."
Right, yeah, Hunter Ray he's a great driver. He's just had a lot of electrical gremlins this year.
Yeah.
And been involved in a bunch of unfortunate accidents like Pocono that weren't really his doing. So, yeah, it's great to see him finally get P1. It was his first pole since 2014 Long Beach.
Yeah, look at you with that stat.
I know, right?
Uh-oh, now you're coming for my job.
I'm coming for everybody's job this weekend.
But it was an amazing moment when that happened.
It was, yeah. And that's great. I'm always happy to see Andretti Autosport do well.
Yeah.
And at the time when we were just in quals, it was a big deal because Hunter Ray took that extra point from Dixon.
Yes.
He could potentially help in the championship with Rossi. So could Marco, but it didn't work out that way.
No. No, it did not.
No, it didn't.
No.
So yeah, in qualifying, it was really interesting to see so much of Andretti Autosport up there because you thought for sure they were getting him to the front, getting Rossi to the front.
And then.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And then not too much. I was really excited to see Newgarden P3.
Yes, that was good.
As I would be.
Yes, obviously. Yeah. Obviously.
Also because I had a side bet with Abby that Newgarden would re-win the championship and he didn't. So, Abby, I have $50 in the mail on your way.
Yeah, Checks in the mail, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I think I was drunk and it was after the Indy 500 and I was like, I have faith in my boy. I didn't even say somebody else had to win. I just said if Joseph didn't win, I'd give you $50. That was a big bet for me to make.
I made a big call at the beginning of at midway last season about Rossi for this year, so I'm here for it. Like, I make big calls. So.
Yeah, and you know what? Joseph did great in the championship this year.
Great.
And during May, right when I made that bet with Abby, Joseph had multiple wins and poles and was doing really well. So, at that point, at the time, it wasn't a bad bet, but
I know.
The later the season got, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Cool, so that's quals, right? Hunter Ray with that last minute.
Dixon's got Marco getting 4. Like, let's take a minute about that one for a second.
Yeah, you know what? I know a lot of people dislike Marco.
Sure.
And maybe don't want to see him do well. And I think the first episode we recorded together, I said Marco was like my first big IndyCar love, right?
I
remember
that.
Right. So whenever he does well, I'm happy about it. Like there's like a part in my heart that's just happy. Because I really want, I think at any moment now it's going to be the turnaround point. And, it makes me happy to see him be in the Fast Six. It makes me happy to see him be competitive. So
yeah,
that was cool.
I was happy. Really great. I
had him in my fantasy league.
I did too.
Worked out well.
I did too. I bet hard on him this year.
Me too.
And let's see. Oh, and of course, Pato O'Ward getting P5.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
How do you think that, it's your first IndyCar, literally your second time in an IndyCar, and you're like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and get P5 and make it all the way to the Fast Six. What the shit?
He was flexing on him. It's the only way. I mean, it was incredible. Like, and man, it was just so cool to see. And I think everybody in the grid was kind of taken off guard.
I think so.
Everybody was interested to see it. So I'm interested to hopefully see him in a ride next year. And I mean, like, so he won the championship, right? The Indy Lights championship.
Yes.
Yes. So he has that scholarship going in.
Yes.
So I just really hope to see him do great things. Yeah, dude, it's just so cool.
It was. And then, of course, Rossi was 6th because he decided to just chill.
Right, because he decided to do a few laps and save his red tires, which he did use in the race.
Yes. And it probably would have played out had lap 1, turn 3 not happened.
Right, yeah.
Oh, God, well.
But, I mean, we're all a little unsure because we didn't get to watch it live. Sorry, I'm going to say that 50 times before this broadcast is over.
I'm with you. And I have, jumping into the race, I have watched that incident now on replay, 4 different times. I don't know. It almost just is a racing incident. At this point, I'm was it a brake check? Was it a lift? Was it just literally pack racing 3 turns into the first lap? I think it's just a racing incident.
I think it is too. And, I think it's rough because Marco is Rossi's teammate.
Yeah.
And so he should have been doing everything to help. Did Marco do that on purpose? Absolutely not.
No, I don't believe so.
He lifted, and I mean, I've watched it a few times, and I feel like he lifts because whoever was in front of him kind of came to the right a little bit.
Yeah.
And blocked his line, so he was lifting, so he didn't hit the guy in front of him. And, I'm just going to say, I didn't pick Rossi to win the championship, and I felt like it was because something like that might happen.
Yeah.
Because Rossi is so aggressive.
Yeah. No, I get that.
And so I was just worried that he was going to make an aggressive move, like the first lap accident that happened.
Yep.
And you know who's not going to make that move?
Scott
Dixon.
I think that is the best way to sum up the difference between those two drivers. I think Scott is a very, no, they're both, very calm, but I think as a driver, Scott's just I'm going to do this move, and then I'm going to do this move, and then I'm going to do this move. And as we saw, Rossi's just I'm going to pass this homie, I'm going to pass this homie, I'm going to dive bomb him here, I'm going to keep going, balls to the wall.
Just Newgarden here, And, that's fine. That is so interesting to watch. We saw it at the 500 this year. We saw it at Sonoma.
Phoenix.
But, we also saw it at Detroit.
Yeah, and
where
that did not
Rossi
turn
gave
out.
up that win.
Yeah.
And so, and I think that just comes with a lot to do with time in the sport and experience. And Scott Dixon has nothing but time and experience. So I think he's just an easy bet, no matter what, you know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. Did I have Rossi to win the championship? Yes. Am I upset that Scott won the championship? No.
No.
That would have been my second. Okay, if you can't pick Rossi, well, obviously Scott's always going to win a championship. Just put Scott down. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, Scott, you can always put in a top 5, top 10 and get your money back, Yes. You're never going to lose on Scott Dixon unless somebody else fucks up his race.
Exactly.
But we even saw in Portland, if somebody else fucks up his race, he's just going to drive away.
He just goes, all right, well, anyway, I'm going to just reverse out of this mess and leave you jokers behind.
The only driver to pull in the clutch and not stall.
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
And he just reversed out. See you later.
I mean, he was holding his clutch that whole time. That's the only way he didn't stall. That's incredible. That only comes from time.
It was just one of those moments. Everybody says he's lucky, and I'm yeah, he was. Yeah, absolutely. He didn't hit anybody in that crash.
Right.
I mean, Scott's just doing Scott things, I guess.
I mean, he's lucky, but he's also just so skilled.
He is.
It's there was a certain amount of luck for him to not hit anybody, but 90% of the drivers would have stalled.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so he's just undeniable, man. There's just no other way to explain it.
It's a GOAT. This is the GOAT right now for us.
Yes, he is. Insert GOAT emoji here. It's the only way. Yeah.
It's it. And I love that he's I'm not one, and everybody else is
dude.
But aren't you though? Okay, but aren't you though?
It's cute that you're humble, but I mean.
But I would not be. I'd been yes, 100%.
Oh no.
But again, I can never do this, so we're fine.
Right, that's why he's the Iceman.
Yes. And I'm
for sure
very temperamental. Okay. Let's see.
Lap 1.
Lap 1, yes.
I guess our consensus here is it's a racing incident.
I really feel like it is.
Yeah, I mean, man, Marco didn't know. I think he just pulled out so he didn't hit somebody else.
Right? And, even Rossi kind of was like, it is what it is. It was, in the middle of the race. Nobody's sitting here pointing fingers. Right. It happens. It happens. And it's unfortunate that it happened this race, but it has happened. And it will happen again.
I was kind of surprised to not see Rossi get out and kind of badmouth Marco. I was, waiting for it to happen, just because I live for the drama. But
I mean, he might kill him in the off-season. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we still don't know.
We don't know. It's a long off-season. Marco might end up dead somewhere, and I'm blaming Rossi already.
Yep. Rossi with a little bit of his dead eyes. You're not sure?
Who knows? He's got to get another victim. It's been a while. Yeah.
For sure. So, okay, so that's lap 1.
Yes.
Man, I have a Ward losing 5 positions.
He lost 5 positions, but I mean, I can't be too mad at the kid for losing 5 positions.
No, I'm not mad at it at all. I think qualifying and being in traffic are 2 different things.
Yes.
Sonoma is infamous for low downforce, just for the cars sliding all over, dancing all over the track. And I think as soon as you get in traffic and a little bit of dirty air, that's going to come full force. And I mean, it's his first race, dude. He doesn't know. Yeah, but I mean, he was yelling over his radio, I need to come in now. And they're like, you got to stay out, man.
I kind of felt bad for him at one point because he was like, I really want to come in. And his team was like, at one point, I thought they said 8 more laps. And I was like, dear God, not 8 more.
Yeah.
Make it 3 and then do okay, give me 1 more and get to 4. But 8? No.
Right.
But
I mean, what are you going to, it's your first race. You didn't know.
I mean, I can't fault him for that. And at one point, he was holding off Graham Rahal. So,
yes.
you gotta give him a little credit. He was in the thick of it for the first 10 laps. And then he kind of panicked, which is fine.
Which, I mean, same. I did a 2-seater ride around Indianapolis, and I've always thought in my heart, I could do this. And we were in the straightaway, and I was like, I could do this. And then we went into the turn, and I was like, turns out, plot twist, I could not do this. Right? I would drive this car directly into the wall.
Right. It's not the straightaways. And I realized that, we did hot laps, which are not as fast as the 2-seater, but, the straightaways at Gateway, I was like, this is fine. And even the curvature on Gateway, I was like, this is fine. But when we did the road course and hit the turns back to back, I was like, this is not fine. I could not handle this.
It's insane. And I don't know, I grew up racing cars and I always thought I could. And maybe there was a point where I could have if I kept driving. But man, I was like, I could do this. And then I did that 2-seater ride around Indianapolis and my eyes were wide open. And I was like, yeah, no, it turns out could not do this. So, I mean, Pato, what a guy. He did great this weekend.
Top 10 finish for your first time out.
Top 10 for Harding.
First top 10 for Harding.
Amazing. So, yeah, that's great.
I'm here for Pato Award next season. I will say that.
Me too. I would not be surprised to see him in that Harding entry.
Plus, I love that he's both his last name Award is definitely it's got Irish name, but he is Spanish, and I love it.
Yes, that sombrero picture of him.
Oh my God.
After he won the championship, great, wonderful. I'm living.
It happened right near us, and I remember turning around and going I mean, I guess if you put it on, it's fine, but okay. Mm-hmm. He's wearing a sombrero. All right.
Yeah,
all right.
I mean, let him live however he wants to live, I guess.
Live your life. It's fine.
Yeah.
This is what he wants to do. This is what he gets to do.
Yeah, I'm sure he put a lot of thought into it, so.
Actually, I saw a photographer carrying the sombrero earlier in the day, so I don't know.
Oh, man. Can you imagine that guy just cons him into putting the sombrero?
Do you want to wear the sombrero? And he was like, yes, I do, which... Honestly, if somebody handed me a weird hat after I won a championship, I'd put it on.
Oh, dude, when I was a little kid, all I wanted to do was go to Garduño's. Do you have Garduño's in Indianapolis?
Is this a restaurant?
Yeah, it's a Mexican restaurant. But
like a Chi-Chi's.
Sure.
That's
I don't know.
Do you, like the birthday you put the hat on and they sing at you?
Yes, the sombrero, and they sing to you. And I remember being a little kid and making my family go to Gardino's every year so I could put the sombrero on and they would sing to me.
Yes.
So, like, same, Pato, same.
I mean, live your life. No, but
I mean,
that's, for those of us in the Midwest, it sounds like it's the Chi-Chis. And if you don't know what a Chi-Chis is, you're really too young for this podcast right now, and I'm upset.
yeah, I mean, it's different over here in the Southwest than the Midwest.
It's like the nicer, it's like the Applebee's of Mexican restaurants.
Yeah, I mean, that's about right.
Yeah. Anyway. God, I don't know where that went.
Always taking left turns, sorry.
It's all right, it happens. You know, wander and then we come back.
Yep, got it.
Let's see. Munoz.
Yes.
Poor Carlos Munoz. A great driver. Somebody we know always calls him like the Indy 500 winner that wasn't, because like,
yeah, him and Hildebrand kind of have that in common, huh?
Right, he's always there, but he never wins. But
he's always a bridesmaid, but never a bride. Yeah.
Bless his heart. So I listened to like in-car communication on the app while watching the race on 14 different channels because NBCSN has some explaining to do.
Yes.
And at one point, he, like, lost his gearbox, so he had to do the whole race in emergency mode.
Oh, shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah! Because, like, his crew chief came over, because it's the same crew that runs, that does it for Wickens, and whoever is making the calls has a very distinct accent, and he was like, okay, so you're in emergency mode, and, like, Carlos was like, I don't know where that is on the new car.
I'm what?
Yeah. Like he's like,
what now?
This is a new car. Nobody showed me where the panic emergency button is. And so they had to tell him where it was. And I felt really bad.
Oh, man. I mean, I don't know why that didn't even occur to me. But yeah, Munoz going into a new car that he'd never driven.
I mean, he did like the 500, but...
he did, yeah.
If you do, but like gearbox issues at the 500, like they're going to just replace it or something. Like you're not going to run the 500 in emergency mode. I feel like.
Well, and then also, like, an oval's very different to driving a road course.
Right.
And, like, in the oval, you're not shifting down the same way you are on a road course. Like, you were down to first gear sometimes in a road course.
Right.
Like, it's completely different. Like, at Indy, you're in fucking 4th, 5th, or 6th gear. And that's it. Unless you're in the pits.
Well, yeah. But
yeah.
Yeah. So that was very interesting. When he was like...
Crazy.
Here's where you go into emergency mode. And I was like, oh, no. Poor Carlos.
I mean, he had a spin later on the restart. But, I mean, I guess that's all very reasonable considering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm going through my notes that I take. Feel free to interject your notes that you take, too.
I have lap 16 Sato motor blown.
Yeah, Sato lost an engine.
Yeah, no yellow. Surprising.
I think he was able to get it around, and they made a comment that this year, and when they said it, I kind of was like, okay, that's true. Like, the stewards are like, let's let him race.
Yeah, they're not throwing yellows as much.
I'm okay. Like, if it's not a situation that demands a yellow, like, all right, let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, definitely. I think I was just expecting a lot of oil on the track.
Yeah, that's true.
So I guess it was just surprising to me. I thought that was definitely going to throw a yellow just because of the oil coming out of the engine, but no yellow.
No yellows. It just burnt up. Yeah. Beautiful plumes of smoke.
Right. And clearly Dixon and Ryan Hunter-Ray thought there was going to be a yellow because they pit that lap.
Right. They were like, oh, hold on.
Expecting it. Yeah. So Dixon and RHR came in that lap.
Which, by the way, like, everybody talks about the Wolfpack, but RHR's crew had, like, same or similar times to Scott Dixon's crew. Because they were both in and out of the pits at the same time. And I was like, as soon as they pitted, I was like, here it is. Dixon's going to take the lead.
Right.
And it didn't happen.
And you know, Hunter Ray won the pit challenge award for Portland. So, yeah, I mean, they're doing great in their pits there.
I mean, that helps. You know, if you have a bad pit stop, it's going to put you back. And if you can be as fast as your competitor...
Oh, yeah.
And
that leads us straight into my boy Joseph stalling on lap 18.
Well, when you started to join me in the anger, sadness drinking.
Mm-hmm. It was rough. That group chat was lit.
It was something else.
With a lot of feelings.
There's always a lot of
not
feelings.
Not positive.
No. Most of them were not, actually.
No, it was all negative.
It's a lot of
Joseph
anger and
stalling.
sadness.
It broke my heart. That sucks, man. And I mean, it happens, but man, he could have got that win.
I know. I
He
felt real
could've.
bad.
It hurt. It hurt my heart.
It hurt everybody's heart because you were just like, wait, what happened? He stole
Wait,
it?
what?
No.
I mean, we were like messaging back and forth, and we were still on the Rossi thing, and then I was like, Joseph just stalled. No. So yeah, it was a rough day on the group chat. Abby had to mute us because we were messing up her coverage. Sorry.
Well, that's also weird. Usually I'm the one who just drops out of the group chat. I'm like, I will figure out what these bitches said later. But no, not
Right.
this time. I had a lot of
Not
feelings.
today.
And a lot of wine because, well, it was Sonoma.
Well, and it was a rough couple first lap, so happens.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, mm-hmm. It
Yeah,
was rough for all of us.
It was rough for all of us. This is why we have to take a season break. Our livers.
Yeah. Oh, I know, but I don't want to.
I know.
But I don't want to.
I know, but I don't want to. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Joseph stalled lap 18, and then it was just kind of over from there.
I mean, he did
He
fine.
pulled back a top 10.
He pulled back a top 10. I mean, both of our boys pulled back a top 10. So
They did. I mean, I guess that's really all you can ask for, but it just hurt.
Oh, you
because
know.
for a minute there, I saw my $50 coming back to me. When Rossi was in 20th, and I was like, if Dixon's engine stalls, I have my $50, but no.
You're like,
it didn't happen.
it might happen. And I had that same thing too, because, later on, Rossi literally went like 6 positions in 2 laps. And I was like, oh, wait a minute.
He did.
Maybe I shouldn't start. And then I was like, no.
Yeah, that was lap 44 when that full course yellow came out for Graham, right?
Yeah, right around that time. He
Yeah.
did like 6 positions, 2 laps. And I was like, here for this.
I mean, that was, I remember that moment being like, we have a championship race again.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And yeah, I mean, so I have lap 38, Dixon, let's Rossi by.
Yes.
Which
He was a lap down. And honestly, like, Dixon didn't have to win the race to win the championship. So it's one of those, like, I mean, I'm not going to fight him for it hard because I don't want to, like, fuck something up.
definitely no. I feel like that was another Iceman move by Dixon.
Yes.
For him to let Rossi by.
Yeah.
Because it's like, as much as you're looking in your mirrors and you see the guy you're fighting for this championship for behind you, also, if he crashes into me or I brake check a little too early into this corner and we get tangled up and Joseph or Will wins and this gets snatched away from both of us, I think he's just a very forward thinker.
He is.
So I think that was the move of letting Rossi by.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, he got past Dixon, and then RHR held him up for a moment or two.
Yeah, and then RHR was supposed to let him by, and he did, but then Rossi went off track.
Yeah. And I was like,
bit.
God damn it. What are you doing to me? And then I started sad drinking again. If you want to pinpoint the moment where I finished my first box of wine, that was it. Okay.
That was that moment.
That was that moment.
I mean, that was pretty wild. Mm-hmm. I was fully screaming at the TV.
Oh, there were so many screamings at the TV.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
This weekend in particular. So, so then we have Rossi goes out track, but he got that position because RHR pulled into the pits.
Yes.
And then we have the full cars yellow for Graham.
Yeah, which he blew a battery.
Oh, was it the battery?
He ended up tweeting out like a picture of the battery, and he was like, blown battery, and I was like, ooh, you don't come.
Ooh.
But he came back, I mean.
He did. Yeah, he got back on track because him and Marco at the time were tied for points. So if Marco was to crash out, he would have gained another position in the championship. So that's why they put Graham back out.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do for championship points. I'm not mad at that.
Right. I mean, whatever.
Somebody ran down to an Advanced Auto Parts, bought a battery, and was like, let's go.
Yeah, I guess so, right? I mean, that's just crazy to see both RLL cars go out with mechanical issues on the last race. That sucks.
They've had weird luck as well this season, I feel like.
Yeah, they definitely have.
Like, we were all happy. We're like, 2 RLL cars will be able to share data. And then at the end, you're just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, I don't feel like much sharing ended up happening. I wonder what the relationship between Ray Hall and Sato is.
I'm so curious.
And I feel even interested because I feel like every picture I see of them is like they're photoshopped together, and it's like clearly not them together. And so I'm like, do you have a good relationship or not? You know?
Can you pick your teammate out of these pictures? Like,
right.
Here's a lineup of similar people. Which one's your teammate? Like, let's see how this works.
Right. And I mean, I really like Graham. I really do. And a lot of people don't like Graham, but I really like him. I think he's a great guy. So I almost had him in my fantasy, and then I thought twice, so I guess it worked out for me to think twice.
I mean, I don't want to say that I called it, but I did pick him as my drop, because I was just like,
you did.
I don't know. Just
You
a lot
did.
of it's gut. Everybody should know my locks, drops, and sleepers are my gut, and then I make up a reason afterward.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
And it's just how it goes, but it helps some people. Not me, obviously, this year. But some people.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, my fantasy didn't do too bad this weekend, so I'll take it.
I lost our league. Our not personal, but the league we have, the Fast Cars, Fast Girls League. I believe I'm last in that league.
Oh, no.
To be fair, I did not join until after St. Petersburg. So
I didn't even know there was a league. I'm not even in the league. I feel very, very attacked right now.
we didn't tweet it. We only tweeted at about like once. I think we meant to
I feel
tweet.
like I sent a message saying, do you have a league? And you're like, no, but IndyCar Nation does.
That's exactly it. And then we were like, we should make a league. And then we tweeted about it. And you know
I feel
us.
very hurt.
Sometimes we forget to close the loop on that circuit. I'm going to blame Abby because she's not here right now. She's on a
Okay, fair
boat,
enough.
so it's her fault.
Well, I'm hurt, but we'll fix it next season.
Yeah,
It's fine.
next season, we will have a league starting from the beginning.
Okay, good call.
Okay. Oh, God. All right, Graham. What else you got?
Graham, that was perfect timing for Rossi. He got back to a championship race after that.
Yes.
He pits under yellow for full fill and tires. Those are those red tires that he didn't use.
The reds that he saved.
Yes, in quals. So we thought that those would help, but actually Rossi said that his preferred tire was the blacks, not the reds.
You know, they were talking about the track being a very weird tire setup.
Yes.
So that doesn't surprise me, that he liked the blacks a little bit better. They are longer lasting. He likes to go for those longer stints on tires.
Yeah, for sure. I think for those reds to have fully benefited him, he would have had to make a lot of positions up in that restart, which he did.
Yeah.
But not enough positions to make it count.
Right. Because they were
But I mean,
falling.
Sonoma's hard to pass.
It is hard to...
It's notoriously for that, you know?
Yeah, so at some point, this was when I re-listened to it, because I listened today while I was doing very, very important things. I also listened to it. There was over, and I don't know the final number, but it's over 165 passes were made.
Wow.
And at
That's
some
pretty
point, it was like IndyCar Radio, and they're like, and about 160 of those were Rossi's. And I was like, you slay
I mean,
IndyCar Radio.
You're not wrong. We had to have a moment where, to the group chat, I had to say, if your boy hip checks my boy like that again,
I know.
we're going to have some issues.
There's going to be a throwdown at like St. Petersburg or somewhere where we're just like, this is where we're going to fight.
Rossi sure did hip check New
He
Garden,
hit- Look, I'm not saying he's not aggressive. He's a very aggressive
he is.
driver. Oh, 100%.
I was just like, look, we're going to have issues, man.
You're like,
We're gonna have issues.
if they
Like,
crash
this
each other
keep
out,
happening.
which, I mean, I get it. If they crashed each other out, I would have been upset at Rossi for you, too.
We would have been fully crying, both of us.
Yeah. Nobody wanted that right now. No. Oh, God. All right. What else do I have?
So that's the restart where Munoz spun around.
Yeah. Oh, Carlos.
But he kept it underpowered. He drove away, so no yellow.
I mean, I've seen him do that a few times where he'll like fuck the car up and then he's like, just kidding, and keeps going.
Right. I mean, keeping the clutch in is,
Key.
you know, hard and important. So he did that. So
I mean,
good for him on that.
speaking of clutches, so we had to mess with Abby's car today. She's not here. The AAA driver, the second guy they sent out, who's like the advanced guy, looked at me and he was like, which one of these pedals is the clutch and which one is the brake? And I was like, oh boy.
Oh,
We're going to be here for a minute, but we figured it out.
Molly,
I mean, I knew which one was which.
honey.
He did not. And I felt...
he didn't.
He
Okay, I
did.
was like, Molly.
No.
How does the AAA guy not know which one's the clutch?
I mean, I get it. He said it had been over 10 years since he had driven a clutch.
Okay, but I mean, it's the... Okay.
I know.
All right.
I know. But anyway.
I mean...
So the clutch is an important pedal to learn, everybody.
It is. Please know where a clutch is, and if you drop an automatic, just know how to put your car into neutral. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's all important.
Yes.
Anyway. So Carlos spun around, saved it.
Yes. Saved it, kept it under green, so no yellow there.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I have written down is Rossi and Dixon both had 6.5-second pit stops, which is pretty impressive.
That's pretty damn impressive.
That is 4 tires and a full tank of fuel.
A splash of
6.5
Sunoco fuel.
seconds.
Excuse me, that's a full set of Firestone tires and a full tank of Sunoco fuel.
Yes, great job.
You have to name drop.
Sorry, I am 3 beers in and I can't name drop anymore. I can't do it.
I mean, I am drinking wine. It's fine.
So,
okay.
yeah.
I can keep. I've got just a handful of more. Here's something
do it.
that I found very fucking interesting. As Rossi is passing people, at one point he has to pass Tony Kanaan.
And he waved him by.
Waved him the fuck by.
What kind of shade is that to Chip Ganassi?
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I
the ultimate
hollered
shade.
at that. I said, he just said fuck you to Chip and said, come on by, kid.
Oh, yeah. He pulled the willpower double birds at Chip.
Yes, but like in a classy way.
Yeah. But and you know what? The funny thing was, is I watched the thing about Tony Kanaan before, like, I think, I can't think of it, but, Robin Miller posted it on Twitter, and people were talking about Tony Kanaan, and it was like Scott Dixon and Daria Franchitti, and they talked about being in the race for a championship and Tony Kanaan waving them by. Mm-hmm. So it was really interesting for me to see that in action for people that aren't necessarily his best friend.
Exactly.
And that article just came out about Tony Kanaan not liking Rossi.
Yeah, like, he and Rossi
months ago.
did not get along well at the beginning of all of this. Like, no.
Right. And they do now, which
They
is great,
do.
but it's still amazing to see him just wave him by like
Exactly.
that. You
like,
know?
He didn't. I also think that Max Chilton just kind of let him on by. And I was like, both of those drivers just said, you can go.
Yep.
See you later,
and they
Chip.
were both wrong. They were both sidelined in the middle of a race.
Yeah.
So
Like,
I don't blame them.
I get it.
Yep. So, yeah, that was wild. That is a good point to make.
What else? Excuse me. Well, before we talk about Dixon, I think we do have to talk about poor Ryan Hunter-Reay, who once again got overshadowed.
Yeah.
He's like the driver everybody forgets, and I don't
He
know.
kind of is.
I mean, he's a nice guy.
He's like the redheaded stepchild of IndyCar.
He really is, though. Like,
Yeah.
every time I start thinking about it, I think about the song, like, Don't Forget About, like, Don't You Forget About Me. Like, I feel like he was singing that song as he pulled his car into victory lane, and he was like, damn it, everybody's here for Dixon, and nobody cares about me.
He is. But, I will say, I was at the championship race where Ryan Hunter-Reay won the championship at Fontana.
Yeah.
And Ed Carpenter won. And Ed Carpenter was so overshadowed. Like, there was no victory lane for Ed Carpenter. It was all about RHR. So, what? I think that RHR can give one up this time because he did get all the attention when he won that championship in Fontana.
I mean, it's true. That's what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. If you win, but you're not the champion, you might as well be like, it's fine. I'm just going to go home. Like,
right. You know what? Cool. I'm glad I won that race.
Thanks.
See you next season. Yeah.
Bye, everybody. I'm going to go to a winery. I'm sure somebody is open right now.
Yeah. You know what? Winning the championship race, if you didn't win the championship, is like coming second in Indy. Like, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Like, there's no victory lane for you. Like, sorry, man.
Yeah, just keep on driving and go to, like, the nearest Taco Bell or something. I don't know. Live your life.
Just try not to get robbed at the Speedway Taco Bell.
I mean, it's a good Taco Bell. Don't get me wrong.
Just a deep dive for those Franchitti and Dixon fans out there.
And if you don't know, well, Google Scott Dixon and Taco Bell and enjoy that. God in heaven. Sorry, I'm just remembering. There were a lot of texts that went to me when that happened.
I'm sure.
Like I could help them.
Right, like what am I supposed to do?
Somebody was like,
I don't know, man.
Didn't the track tell them not to go there? And I was like, I don't know what they told them, but...
I don't know. I don't work for Indianapolis Motor Speedway. By the way, if you want to hire me, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, I will. But right now, I don't work for Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
The qualifier is yet. Hey, Doug, what's up? Hello, how are you doing? Nice to
Hello, hi.
Hey, Doug.
This could have been avoided if you hired me. I would have told Scott Dixon to not go to the Speedway Taco Bell.
Go to the Fazoli's instead, man. Don't ever go to the Fazoli's. I mean, he led 80 out of the 85 laps. Like, he got up front and he stayed up front, which is kind of what happens. So
in Sonoma.
Yeah,
for sure. Which is why nobody's. I don't know. Maybe I'm just never impressed with Sonoma, but that's just me.
I think for like years past, it's not been exciting. I think because of actually the lap 1 incident, you had something to kind of keep your eye on.
Definitely, yeah.
Throughout the race. Like, there were other things, like Marco was fighting, Pato O'Ward was fighting, like, Will was fighting, but for the most part, not really.
Right. I mean, Sonoma's just one of those, I don't know, like, Sonoma kind of comes in after Detroit for me, of just, like, races that I wish were more interesting.
Exactly.
Because they come at a pivotal point.
Yes.
Like, after the Indy 500 and the championship finale, like, those are important for me. Clearly, they're important for everybody, and I feel like they should be more exciting than they are.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll see that with Surfer's Paradise, right? I'm not making that up.
Laguna Seca?
Laguna Seca, thank you. I was like, which one am I making up?
Well, Surfer's Paradise is in Australia, but...
right.
That'd be awesome.
There was some talk about it coming back, but it didn't.
Yeah, not yet. We'll see.
Not yet. But yeah, I mean, maybe Laguna Seca will help it, but I don't have a lot of hopes there. I'm a person who thinks that the championship should be on an oval.
I agree with you. No, I'm in agreement. I mean,
it's just interesting, man. I haven't seen such a good championship race than I have than when I was in Fontana.
Yeah.
With Will Power and Ryan Hunter-Reay. I don't know, it's just me. But
yeah, no, I'm with you on that one.
But that doesn't take away from Scott Dixon.
No, I mean, speaking of Scott Dixon, 5 times.
5-time winner, man. I mean, he's undeniable.
I can't with him. He's fantastic.
No.
He's fantastic.
I mean, man, I'm pretty young, so, like, I didn't get to see a lot of Rick Mears and the Unters and the original Andretti's. I didn't get to see a lot of it. I know of it because I care.
Right.
But I didn't see a lot of it, and I feel like watching Scott Dixon, I finally get to see it. In the making. I
agree. I think that's exactly it. Scott is the one right now where, like, my generation, your generation, like, this is the driver that we all can kind of track through. Like, everybody remembers the Target car, and now, like, last year's car, and now it's the PNC Bank car, and it's always Scott Dixon, and he's just, like, I know we make fun of it and say he just does Scott, Dixon's doing Dixon things.
Doing Dixon things, yeah.
But that's exactly it. Like, it's not a joke. He can qualify mid-pack, and then you just, at the end of the race, you're like, how did Scott get into third place?
Be there in the end.
How did he podium?
He will just always be there. He's never a bad bet.
He is a ninja.
It's incredible, man. And then, like, he has, like, the most beautiful wife and the most beautiful family.
It's a perfect family, and I'm tired of watching them on Instagram with their perfect lives. Okay.
Me too.
I'm tired of it.
I'm happy, but also I'm jealous.
Right. No, like, I get it. Like, the FOMO is real, because I'm like, well, I'll never find somebody like that.
I'm like, hi, I can't even get somebody to text me back to look at this family. Damn. It's just, man, they're just not... Dixon's incredible.
Yeah.
Emma, his family, they're just so beautiful and wonderful, and I love Scott, and I love watching this happen because I'm watching history happen. We all
exactly.
are.
We just watched history happen. Like, he's with AJ fucking Foyt.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
that's rarefied air.
Is there any other name to be in? I mean,
at that point, you were like, I'll just retire at this point. Scott can't retire, but
No. And I
No.
mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see a 6th championship out of him.
No, I mean...
Or another Indy 500 win. You know, it's...
Next year, I mean, he's going to race next... Well, I mean, I'm like 99% sure he's going to race next season.
He's going to race next
but, like,
year. There's no way.
Yeah, I've not seen anything to the contrary, but, like, I would not be surprised for him to be in championship contention next year or pull off another Indy 500 win. Like, Scott's just going to do what Scott's going to do.
Yeah, you know, it's... I mean, he's just undeniable.
Yeah.
He's so good. I love watching him race. I love watching history happen. It's so cool to see. And, yeah, man, I don't know. He's the best champion. He's so humble.
He is.
There was a quote saying that he doesn't understand why people want his signature. And I'm like, you realize you're Scott fucking Dixon.
It's because you're Scott Dixon. That's why they want your signature.
What? Like, how do you not understand?
Huh? What?
It's wild to me. And he's just, man, he's such a cool guy. He's such a great driver. He's so level-headed. He's never an ass. He never says something that he can't take back.
Exactly.
You know, and it's like, I feel like we've seen champions do that. Like, even Elio said some shifty things. And, like, you know, people who, like, are notoriously loved in this series have done and said shifty things. And I feel like Scott Dixon is, like, the only exception to that.
He's kind of like the brawny man. Like, he's just there. He's just got...
Yeah. Man, I mean, like, I can think of times where, like, Elio did something that pissed the whole community off, or, like, Tony caused that whole wreck at Texas, and that's adorable, Hinch. And, you know, it's like people, I mean, truly, like, people who are so endlessly loved in this series, but still have moments of they messed up here.
Exactly.
They did something here, but Dixon doesn't have that.
No, I don't even know how to explain it to somebody who doesn't follow this series, but...
No, there's no... I mean, he's
kind of like Jesus, really, if you think about it.
He's Ginger Jesus.
He's just... Oh, my God, I'm here for this. No, I'm here for Ginger Jesus. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mom, but I'm not sorry, though, because it's Scott.
If I contributed anything to this podcast, let it be noted, Ginger Jesus.
I kind of want to make a t-shirt that says that. Scott Dixon is Ginger Jesus, and just wear it.
We'll do it. We'll make it all checkered, and we'll go to the Indy 500 next year.
I mean, I'll wear it to every race. Like, IMSA races that Scott's at, I'm going to wear the Ginger Jesus shirt. Because I'm a ginger, so I'm here for this. Scott Dixon is my Jesus.
I'm there. You know I'm trying to come to all the races next season, so I am there with you.
I am very excited for this. So that just means you have to move here.
Yes, that means I just need to move to Indianapolis. Yeah. I'm working on it.
Good. All right, before we jump into our choices, anything else you want to mention about this race?
I think that's it. I think that's mostly what I had written down.
I do feel like we covered it all.
We'll wave a farewell to Sonoma.
Yes. And
bring in Laguna Seca.
We'll see what happens. We'll move 100 miles south and see if that changes anything.
We'll see. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see how we fared. We'll start with the one who's not here.
Yes.
She picked Pagano for first. Nope. Dixon top 5, so she got the point for that. She had Veach top 10. No, I mean he started 10.
He was looking good for a minute, then he had a moment.
He had a moment, and then she picked Award for first out, and that did not happen.
Mm-hmm. No, it didn't.
So she got 1. All right, I'm next. Apparently, I picked Rossi for first. Well, by the end of lap 1, I was crying, so that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I did have Dixon for top 5, so that got me a point. So did my Marco Andretti top 10. That's right.
Very nice.
Got a Marco point. And then I had Colton Herta for first out. Didn't get a point. So I got 2.
Mm-hmm. And we tied.
We did tie.
This go around.
You got...
Yeah? I had Newgarden for first.
Yep.
It was the last race of the season. That's my boy. I had to bet on him. I mean, I was also hoping I would get that $50 back.
I can't say anything. I picked Rossi for first, so
right.
It's fine.
I just had to go with my heart on that one.
You have to at the last race. Like, it's all hard. It's all hard.
Yeah, I mean, just let it be. So Newgarden for first didn't happen. He stalled out on that lap, and it kind of ended his go for P1. I put Dixon for top 5.
Yep.
Got a point for that. I put Rossi for top 10.
Also
point for that.
Also solid.
And I put Award for first out, which he sure did prove me and Abby wrong this weekend, didn't he? So,
He was like, oh, you put me for first out. I'm going to get a top 10.
yeah, how about that? Fair enough.
To be fair, I've done that with Simon Patch, and I was like, Simon's going to get first out. And he was like, oh, mais oui, I will get a third place. Now what do you say about this? And I'm like, sorry, Simon. I will never say that again.
Simon.
I will never say that again.
You betrayed it, man.
I did. He's going to yell at me in French one day. Maybe he won't know it's me. I'm hoping he doesn't know. All right. Well, let's kind of look at the championship. So, as we talked about it, Scott Dixon is first. Naturally.
Yep. Man.
It was great. The GOAT. Rossi was second. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call the shot. 2019, year of Rossi. I'm going to go ahead and just call it right now. Lick it. I've claimed it. It's mine. It's fine.
Fair enough.
Willpower was third, which
nobody's surprised after those double points in Indy.
Nope. No.
And that sweep of May. Nobody's surprised.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
That was incredible. Yeah.
Ryan Hunter-Reay fourth again.
Man, he sure did recover, didn't he?
He did. Nobody expects
a rough
it.
Season.
And then all of a sudden, Ryan Hunter-Reay is just like hanging out, and you're like, you're fourth? For real?
Right. I mean, those double points in Sonoma helped.
They did.
But man, he was having a rough season. I feel like for the first couple races, it was like, are we ever going to see Hunter-Reay finish a fucking race?
Right.
And you know, I'm really glad to see him pull off that fourth. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, the Detroit race I felt was like really good for him too. I think that really helped him.
That was the turning point of the season for him, for sure.
Fifth, ya boy.
My boy, Joseph.
Joey.
Oh man,
I mean,
that hurts.
Yeah, but I mean, he had a solid year. Like he had a solid year.
Yes, he did. He had a very good first half of the season.
Yeah.
And you know, you can't always win. And if you always win, then I wouldn't want to pull for you. You know what I mean?
I get that. No, I'm with you on that one. You're like, sometimes I have to go home and cry into my pillow about my driver, so it's okay.
Yeah, sometimes. Mm-hmm. Average Sunday. Average Sunday for me. Especially when you're a Marco fan. Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
That was my first couple years in IndyCar. It was ugly.
6 was Abby's boy. She's not here, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Pagano. Which, it was a weird season for Simon as well.
It was. It's great to see him turn that around and turn it into a top 6.
Yeah, it was.
That's great.
I was looking at stats today, and I was like, God, it was a weird season for him.
Mm-hmm.
Just like up and down, up and down.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah. Sebastian Bourdais, 7th.
Wow, that's great after his big crash.
Yeah.
And driving for a team that's disadvantaged like Dale Coyne, I feel like we can all agree that Dale Coyne is just at a serious disadvantage all the time.
No, 100%.
And so it's great to see him in the top 10. Yes. I mean, it speaks to him as a driver.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I mean, he's one of those solid, like, top 10 choices. Like, if you have the money in Fantasy IndyCar and you're like, I could afford Sebastian Bourdais, like, go ahead and put him in. It's fine.
Yeah, definitely.
Just click on him. Just throw him in there. He'll be fine.
Totally, yeah.
Graham Rahal, and then right after Sebastian for 8th, Graham Rahal, another one of those drivers where you're like, yeah, I get it.
He had a better first half of the season, for sure.
Yes.
Man, I really like Graham. I've had, like, face-to-face moments with Graham that I really cherish.
Yeah.
Like personal moments with Graham where he crashed in Texas, and I saw Justin Wilson win that race in Texas, and he, on the last lap, hit the wall, and man, he just couldn't have been any cooler. Like, cooler to me and my dad, and just, like, happy for Justin, even though he, like, kind of gave away that win at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm like, everybody wants to say Graham Rahal, like, the complainer of IndyCar.
I mean, it's sometimes, like, the first moments after race, he will, but, like, I feel like then he's like, all right, I'm going to be a professional.
Right.
And I get it.
He's great with fans. And I think when you stick a camera in somebody's face right after something didn't go well for them, it's not surprising to see them say something they maybe shouldn't have.
I mean, I can talk a lot of
double bird.
right, like I can talk a lot of game, but I know that very first thing if somebody stuck a camera in my face, it was like, first of all, what we're going to talk about is what this driver did wrong and this driver did wrong, and then like 10 minutes later, I'll be like, it was a great race. Like I should have done this.
Thank you for the Napa.
Blah 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 blah. Right?
Yeah.
Thank you to this, and this. Yeah. No, like immediate. I get it, but I'm with you. Like, especially like Mid Ohio, which is like his home track. Like he is stopped every 10 feet by fans, and like every 10 feet he will stop for fans.
Definitely. Yeah, he always does. I mean, me and my dad had like a 5-minute conversation with him about how his car was handling in Texas, and we were like, hey, it kind of sounded like you're hitting the rev limiter, like what's up with that? And he was like, yeah, we need to put a higher gear on. It just, he like really stopped and talked. And you know who the only other person who's done that for me is Zach Beach.
Yes. Aww.
And so it holds a really special place in my heart when a driver does that. So, yeah.
Oh, Zach.
The sweetest boy.
Oh, Zach. He can never, ever be in a conversation with the three of us, by the way.
No,
we did it once, and I was like, uh-oh, dogs everywhere are freaking out.
Everybody's too excited.
Like, we all were at one level, and then, like, somebody would jump to the next level, and then the rest of us would hit that level, and it just kept getting higher. I can't explain it.
Only dogs could hear the frequency at which we were talking.
Yes, at the end, we just squeaky toy noises.
Yes. I mean, what are you going to do?
It's fine.
He's great.
He's fine. Ninth, Marco Andretti.
Very nice.
You know, I'm not a huge Marco fan, but I'm not a Marco. Like, he's one of those drivers I'm like, all right. Like, having heard some stuff about him, I'm like, I see it. Like, I can appreciate that. So, ninth is a solid finish. I think it's a little bit higher than what he did last year. So
yes, it is. And I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Marco was my first IndyCar love. I like to see him do well, even if he's not my favorite driver anymore.
Sure.
And you know, I like to see him do well. So
no, I get that. There's loyalty there.
Yeah, definitely.
And then 10th and 11th, or 10th, is the A-team, James Hinchcliffe and Robert Wickens.
Hinton Wickens, man. Is there anything that can be said about those guys that hasn't been said already?
Just that I love them. But I believe that
they're
I've said that
notoriously
already.
loved. How impressive of a showing for Wickens to not be in like the last 4 or 5 races of the season and still be up there. I mean, it's impressive all around. I mean, it's impressive for Hinch to miss the Indy 500 double points to be 10th.
He missed a double point race and he's 10th. If you're, I suppose 12th, technically. I don't know how they score it. But if you're 12th and below, like, you should take a minute and be like, he wasn't at a double points race. I was at 2 of them and he still beat me. What are we doing wrong?
Right. Or with Wickens, he wasn't at the last 5 races of the season and I'm still, you know, it's impressive all around.
Exactly. It was a very strong showing this year from all of our drivers.
Oh, yeah. And it's just everybody loves them. Nobody dislikes Hinch or Wickens. And it's great to still see such a solid finishing from both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I hope to only go forward and see more of the A-team. And, you know, that's all I can say about that.
I think you summed it up very, very well.
Yep.
Well, on that note, I think we have to wave the white flag.
No!
I know! All right, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
And I mean like that. Ask Abby when next time we talk. I love putting her on the spot. So this is, typically our white flags are unstructured, and mine's unstructured, but yours isn't. Because not this episode, but next episode, Abby and I are going to do our top 5 moments of this season. I'm not going to ask you to list out your top 5. So.
Okay.
And you panicked. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, that's rough.
You were like, whoa, bitch.
Whoa. Yeah.
Whoa. But what is a moment from this season that sticks out in your mind? And it can be anything.
Gotcha. Well, I have to, on a personal note.
Yeah.
The Indy 500.
Sure.
I mean, the Indy 500 always.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, like, on a personal note for me, IndyCar was mine and my dad's thing.
Sure.
And he passed away 2 years ago. And last season, I watched the Indy 500, or not this season before. Mm-hmm. I watched the Indy 500 by myself, and I cried the whole time. And I thought definitely it would never be something that would make me happy ever again.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be something that brought me grief or something that was hard.
Mm-hmm.
And like meeting you guys is like I don't want to get too crazy, but it's like meeting you guys has like literally changed my life. Like when my dad died, I thought I would never find happiness in IndyCar again. And then I went to the Indy 500 and I was like, my mom's like, where are you going? And I was like, I'm going to Indianapolis. I'm meeting these girls I've never met in person before for a week. Like, hopefully it goes well. And, like, I met you guys, and you're just so wonderful. And, like, I feel like we connected really well. And I got to spend the Indy 500 with you guys and the rest of the season with you guys. And it just, like, endlessly means so much to me because finally IndyCar is something that makes me happy again.
Oh,
and, like, I can watch the Indy 500 and I can watch the championship and like be happy to watch it. So and that really began with me for the Indy 500. So it's just really important to me. It always will be. And yeah, so that's my moment. I don't want to make it like too heavy, but
no, I don't think it's heavy at all. I think it's fantastic. We were very excited to have you come out. Yeah. We were waiting for you in the back. I can say we were sitting in Abby's backyard waiting. We're like, when is she going to get here? And then you just showed up and we were just
I rolled up into the backyard with my suitcase. I was like, hello?
We were just like, hey. And then 3 minutes later, I'm yelling at you, do you want a drink? Like,
I was like, yes, I met my people. Yes, I want a drink.
It was
You're like,
fantastic.
Do you want a
margarita?
I was like, yes.
Do you want a margarita in a can? Because that's how we roll.
That's the start of a beautiful friendship, man. So,
it is. Well, I tell you, it was a fantastic week for us. So I will have that as my yellow flag. My goodness.
Oh.
I've had to move things as my white flag. It has been absolutely fantastic. I'm glad you came out for me. I'm glad you had so much fun that you flew out and then drove 10 hours with us to Eastern flipping Pennsylvania for a race.
Pocono, I know. And that's a crazy. Like, people were like, why didn't you just fly into Newark? I was like, I don't know, man. I just wanted to drive 10 hours with the fast cars fast.
I know. There was that moment when you're like, I'm flying to Baltimore, and then I'm flying to Indy, and we were both like, oh, damn. She probably could have just driven from Baltimore to somebody in Pennsylvania, but we're like, it's fine. It's fine. We'll just all road trip together.
I could have. But, I was happy to do a road trip. And
there's something about road trips road trips going to and from an IndyCar race are different.
Definitely.
Like, Pocono is a long one. The one to Florida is a long one. But there's something about them where, like, when you're driving to the race, you're excited. You're like, it's time to go to a race. And then when you're driving back, you're like, oh, my God, this happened. And then what about this? And what about this? So I'm glad that you got to experience that drive there and drive back.
Me too, and I'm excited to only experience more of that. There's definitely like 5 races I definitely want to go to next season, so let's hope that we can do all those together.
Woo! Which ones are they? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Indy.
Yeah.
I'd love to do the Grand Prix of Indy as well.
Ooh, okay.
Mid-Ohio.
Yes.
Iowa.
Okay, all right.
Pocono for our friends on the Pain Tour.
Avi.
And, if I could get you guys over to my side of the country and go to Texas or Coda, that'd be cool.
I mean, we're going to Coda, so you might as well just come.
I'll meet you, dude. That's not that far from my place, so, yeah, I'll definitely be at Coda.
So we can't Airbnb at your house and just Uber over, though, right? It's too far?
Nah, that's kind of too far. Okay. Texas is pretty big.
People keep saying that to us. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to make this happen. That's what you don't know is.
Oh, man, if you thought Pocono was a drive, Coda will definitely be one from Albuquerque.
Maybe you should join us in flying to Austin. We're going to have to fly into Austin for Coda.
Yeah.
No,
I'll fly in and I'll fly back.
we are not driving to Texas, all right? We've already decided that one.
That's so far. Yeah, don't do it.
No. Awesome. All right. I think we have to checkered flag this.
Ouch.
I know.
No.
I know. Oh my God! I forgot to give this social media shout out. Shit.
Oh, gotta do it.
I'm a horrible person.
That's just Abby's gig.
It is, right? I'm used to her, and I had to push her car into my driveway, so it ruined my flow. I'm blaming her for everything right now.
Fair enough.
So we have social media. It is Twitter at Fast Cars NIN317. Our Instagram is Fast Cars, Fast Girls, and our Facebook is just facebook.com/Fast Cars, Fast Girls. And you can find everything on our website, which is www.fastcarsfastgirls.com. Episode notes are there. My blog is there. Abby's blog is there. You can subscribe right from our website. And if you subscribe, you should also, I don't know, like review us or something. And share us with our friends and family. And since I have you, where can the good people at home find you, Juliana?
The good people, they can find me on Twitter. We're leaving the good time for my Twitter, but it'll pick back up.
Sure.
It's Juliana Myers 20, MYERS 20.
Sure.
So that's my Twitter, and if you want to find me on Facebook, just Juliana Myers. So, and then Instagram is Julianarchy, one word.
And we have many a time tweeted, retweeted, tagged, whatever on all of those too. So don't worry. You can find, if you find one of us, you're going to find the other.
Absolutely.
So thank you so very much for jumping in. Since Abby decided to go on a boat.
Of course.
I appreciate having you jump on our driver analyst, although I did find teeny tiny Ed, so your job's in trouble.
Man, I'm going to have to get that guy next time I'm in Indianapolis.
It was like...
that tiny Ed's coming with me.
3 months I couldn't find him, and I was like, that bitch stole Ed.
I would have. I'm that petty.
I know you are.
Don't touch me.
That's why I thought it. So thank you so much for coming on and helping, because otherwise people would have had like 45 minutes of just me talking about the race. Nobody wants that. But a lot of crying. A lot of crying and just like, but why?
Why? Yeah, dude, literally anytime. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, but I'm so looking forward to next season and doing more of this. So thank you.
I can't wait. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening.
All right. See you later.